Most men don't realize they're following a life pattern that was never truly theirs. They seek validation, imitate what's popular, and define their value based on how others see them. But there exists a different kind of man, extremely rare, who lives so far beyond social norms that even experts struggle to understand him. He doesn't act out to gain attention. He doesn't isolate because he's weak. Instead, he operates on an entirely different level, one that society was never built to interpret. From the outside, his behavior may seem strange or unpredictable. But beneath it lies a deeper system of thinking, so complex that traditional psychology still can't fully grasp it. It's not confusion. It's a different kind of intelligence, one that doesn't fit inside conventional frameworks. In this video, we're diving into 9 unique habits of the Sigma male, patterns that leave researchers puzzled, challenge social expectations, and make people question what's really going on in his mind. If you've ever felt out of place, like you see the world differently than everyone else, then this video might reveal more about you than you expect. Number 1, they walk into every social setting with a silent exit plan. Pay close attention to a Sigma male entering a room, and you'll notice something most people miss. He's not chasing attention. He's not trying to impress the most influential person there. Instead, he's reading the room within seconds. He identifies who's leading the energy, who's seeking approval, who's genuinely relaxed, and who's putting on an act. And most importantly, he already knows how to leave. This isn't nervousness. It's awareness. He's constructing a mental map of the environment in real time, giving himself full control over how, and if, he engages. Most people fall into predictable patterns socially. They either dive in fully, craving connection, or pull back completely to avoid discomfort. The Sigma does neither. He engages with intention. He speaks only when it matters. He contributes only when it's meaningful. And the moment the environment no longer feels worth his time or energy, he's gone. No announcements. No excuses. No unnecessary explanations. He simply exits. Half the time, people don't even realize he left until much later. This behavior confuses observers because it doesn't fit into typical personality categories. He's not avoiding people. He's controlling his exposure with precision. To him, social energy is limited, and he treats it like a valuable resource. Every interaction is an investment, and the second it stops giving a return, he withdraws without hesitation. Number 2, they form deep connections, but rarely show them outwardly. This is one of the most misunderstood traits, and often the most damaging in relationships. People assume that because a Sigma male doesn't express emotions openly, he doesn't feel deeply. The truth is the opposite. He often experiences emotions more intensely than most, but he processes them internally. He reflects, analyzes, and finds meaning, all without needing to display it. He doesn't perform his feelings. He lives them. When he cares about someone, it won't show up as loud declarations or constant reassurance. It shows up in consistency. He may not overwhelm you with compliments or dramatic gestures, but he'll remember something small you said months ago, and act on it without ever mentioning it. He won't broadcast his loyalty to the world, but when things fall apart, he'll be there, without hesitation, without questions. Present. Reliable. Unshaken. This kind of emotional expression doesn't fit into traditional models. Most people expect care to be visible, vocal, and obvious. The Sigma doesn't operate that way. His loyalty is quiet. His presence is steady. His care is real, even when it goes unseen. And that's where the disconnect happens. Because the modern world only recognizes what's loud, what's displayed, what's publicly validated. So his way of caring often gets overlooked, even by the people it's meant for. And he knows that. He doesn't enjoy being misunderstood, but he accepts it. Because changing who he is just to be understood was never an option. Number 3, they intentionally disrupt their own progress. This is where things start to look completely irrational to the average person. A Sigma male can be in the middle of a powerful streak, everything aligned, results stacking up, momentum growing, and then suddenly, he stops. Not because he's exhausted. Not because he failed. Not because something broke. He stops by choice. Right at the peak. To outsiders, it looks like he just ruined everything he built. Most would call it self-sabotage. But that explanation falls apart quickly, because self-sabotage is driven by fear, doubt, or insecurity. And none of that is present here. What he's actually doing is testing himself. He's questioning whether his identity is tied to success, or if it stands on its own, independent of outcomes. Most people cling to momentum because their confidence depends on it. Take away their wins, and their self-worth collapses with it. The Sigma doesn't rely on anything he hasn't pressure-tested, including his own mindset. So he shuts everything down, just to see what remains. And what he usually finds is this. He's still the same person, with or without the streak. That realization means more to him than praise, status, or achievements ever could. He's not stopping randomly. He's evaluating his foundation. And once he confirms it's solid, he builds again, faster, sharper, and with zero internal doubt. This time, he's not driven by hope. He's driven by certainty. Number 4, they are completely at ease with being disliked. For most people, rejection feels like a threat. It affects their mood, their behavior, even their identity. Slowly, they begin reshaping themselves, smoothing out anything that might trigger disapproval. Over time, they become more acceptable, but less authentic. The Sigma male doesn't follow that pattern. Not because he's emotionally numb, but because he doesn't hand over control of his inner state to other people's opinions. Experts often try to label this mindset. Some call it avoidance. Others link it to narcissism. But neither explanation truly fits. Avoidant individuals still want approval, they just hide that need. Narcissists crave admiration, even if they pretend otherwise. The Sigma operates differently. He's already come to a simple conclusion. Being liked by everyone requires becoming someone generic. And that's a trade he refuses to make. This doesn't mean he's cold or disconnected. In fact, in one-on-one interactions, he can be surprisingly understanding and genuine. He'll help without expecting recognition. He'll listen without needing something in return. He'll show care, but never as a transaction. And if people walk away thinking he's unusual, distant, or hard to read, that's a cost he accepted long before the interaction even began. He doesn't lose sleep over opinions. Because he already made a decision most people avoid their entire lives. His view of himself matters more than anyone else's. And that single decision changes everything. Number 5, they keep their greatest achievements to themselves. In a world where every success is shared, posted, and turned into content, the Sigma male does something most people can't even understand. He wins, and stays silent. He reaches milestones that took months, sometimes years, of effort. He completes major goals. He accomplishes things most people would immediately announce to the world. And he says nothing. No posts. No hints. No subtle mentions in conversation. It's as if it never happened. But this isn't about being humble in the usual sense. And it's not about pretending to downplay success. It's about control. He understands something most people overlook. The moment you share your success and receive praise, your brain starts rewarding you for the reaction, not the work. The validation becomes addictive. Over time, the focus shifts. You stop chasing growth, and start chasing applause. The Sigma refuses to let that happen. He protects the source of his drive. Because for him, the real reward isn't recognition. It's knowing, without any external proof, that he can do it again. By keeping his wins private, he keeps his motivation pure, untouched, and fully his own. The world celebrates what it can see. The Sigma values what doesn't need to be seen to exist. Number 6, they move in intense cycles of discipline and complete withdrawal. At one moment, the Sigma male looks unstoppable. He's waking up early, locked in, training hard, working with extreme focus. Every action is intentional. Every hour has purpose. He appears highly disciplined, almost mechanical in his consistency. Then suddenly, everything changes. He slows down, sleeps longer, steps away from structure, lets go of rigid routines. From the outside, it looks like he lost momentum. Like he became inconsistent, or distracted. But that's not what's happening. He's not breaking his discipline. He's balancing it. The Sigma doesn't operate in a straight line. He operates in cycles. He pushes himself to the limit, and then deliberately pulls back. Not because he lacks drive, but because he understands something most people ignore. Constant pressure eventually leads to collapse. Without recovery, even the strongest systems fail. While others try to maintain non-stop productivity, he builds recovery into his system. Not as a reward, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. He's seen what burnout does. He's watched disciplined people fall apart because they never allowed themselves to reset. So he avoids that trap entirely. And this is what makes him unpredictable and dangerous to compete with. Because just when it looks like he's fallen off, just when others think they've caught up, he returns at a level that makes his previous performance look average. What looked like a break was actually preparation. Number 7, they invest time in learning things with no immediate purpose. A Sigma male might spend months diving deep into something completely random, like decoding complex systems, studying an ancient language, mastering strategy games, learning survival techniques, or exploring niche subjects most people would never touch. And then, he moves on. No clear goal. No obvious payoff. No explanation. From the outside, it looks pointless. But he's not trying to build credentials. He's not chasing career upgrades. And he's definitely not doing it to impress anyone. He's driven by something far deeper, the process itself. For him, learning isn't about outcomes. It's about transformation. Every new skill reshapes how he thinks. It expands how he sees patterns, problems, and possibilities. Most people are wired to pursue goals with clear rewards, money, status, recognition. The Sigma operates on a different system. His reward is internal. It's the moment something clicks. The shift in perception. The ability to understand something today that felt impossible yesterday. He's training his mind to adapt, connect ideas across different fields, and think in ways that can't be measured by traditional standards. While others focus only on what's useful right now, he's quietly building a mental arsenal that prepares him for situations no one else sees coming. And here's what confuses people the most. Those random skills almost always become valuable later, just not in predictable ways. Each one adds a layer. Strategy sharpens patience. Language builds structure. Complex systems develop awareness. Nothing is wasted. Everything connects. Even if he can't explain it in the moment, he sees the bigger picture forming over time. Number 8, they choose silence over reaction during conflict. When most people feel challenged or disrespected, their instinct is immediate. They respond with intensity. Voices rise. Egos clash. Energy escalates. The Sigma does the opposite. He goes completely quiet. Not out of weakness. Not to avoid the situation. But with full control. That silence isn't passive, it's intentional. He understands that reacting in the heat of the moment usually leads to mistakes, words that can't be taken back, reactions that give away too much. So instead of speaking, he observes. He lets the other person reveal everything, their emotions, their intentions, their insecurities. He gathers information while giving away nothing. He studies the entire situation without interrupting it. And when everything settles, that's when he speaks. Calm, direct, precise. Every word lands with impact, because it's not driven by emotion, it's guided by clarity. Most people call this emotional control. But it goes deeper than that. He's turning patience into an advantage. He knows that in any confrontation, the person who stays composed holds the real power. Not the loudest. Not the most aggressive. But the most controlled. And this is what unsettles people. Because silence in the middle of tension doesn't feel neutral. It feels dominant. Every second he stays quiet sends a message without saying a word. He's in control of himself. And that means, he's in control of the situation. Number 9, they see their identity as something constantly evolving, never fixed. Most people settle into a version of themselves early in life. They decide who they are, what they believe, where they belong, and then spend years protecting that image. They say, this is me. These are my beliefs. This is who I'll always be. The Sigma male rejects that entirely. To him, identity is not permanent, it's adjustable. His mindset, values, perspectives, even his strongest opinions, are all subject to change. Not randomly. Not impulsively. But whenever new understanding proves the old version incomplete. This doesn't mean he's uncertain or lacks direction. In fact, it requires far more strength to question yourself than to defend outdated beliefs. Most people struggle to do that. Because they attach their identity so tightly to what they believe that changing their mind feels like losing a part of themselves. The Sigma creates distance between who he is and what he currently thinks. And that distance gives him freedom. Freedom to grow. Freedom to adapt. Freedom to become something better without internal conflict. To outsiders, this can seem confusing. Traditional thinking suggests that a stable identity means consistency, that a strong person should remain the same over time. But the Sigma isn't unstable. He's flexible by design. He understands that the version of himself from years ago was operating with limited awareness. So instead of clinging to old perspectives out of pride, he updates. Regularly. He doesn't defend outdated ideas just to protect his ego. If something no longer aligns with truth or growth, he replaces it. And when his current self contradicts his past self, he doesn't see weakness. He sees progress. While others are busy preserving who they used to be, he's already becoming someone new. Sharper. More aware. Closer to reality than he was yesterday. And that's the essence of the Sigma paradox. The reason people keep trying to understand him and keep falling short. He doesn't follow conventional rules, but he's not rebelling for attention. He doesn't chase power, yet he naturally builds it through how he moves. He doesn't need validation, yet he relentlessly seeks deeper understanding. He exists between categories, never fully fitting into any predefined mold. And maybe that's the point. He was never meant to be defined by systems built to categorize predictable behavior. He evolves beyond labels, beyond expectations, beyond every box the world tries to place him in. And the moment you think you've finally figured him out, he's already changed, forcing you to start from the beginning all over again. Final thought. The Sigma male isn't powerful because he fights the system. He's powerful because he no longer depends on it. While most people are chasing approval, protecting fixed identities, and reacting to the expectations around them, he operates from a completely different place. He questions what others blindly accept. He detaches from outcomes that control most people. He adapts faster than the world can define him. He doesn't move loudly, but every move is calculated. He doesn't seek attention, yet his presence is felt. He doesn't need validation, because his direction comes from within. That's why he's so difficult to understand. Not because he's trying to be complex, but because he refuses to stay predictable. In a world built on patterns, labels, and categories, he remains fluid. And that fluidity gives him an advantage most people never develop. He can evolve without hesitation. So while others are busy trying to figure him out, compare themselves, or fit him into a box, he's already moved on, sharper, more aware, and operating on a level they haven't even realized exists yet. And that's the real reason he can't be decoded. Because the moment you think you understand him, he's no longer that version of himself anymore.